Good morning. Well, guys, this is the very last video that I'm going to have with you. So very sad. I'm sure you guys are just so devastated that you're not going to have any more math videos to look forward to every day. But, all sarcasm aside, I am going to miss talking to you guys, that's for sure, and being with you. But I already missed that because we haven't done that in a while. Next week, I'm going to have a meeting time, probably on, maybe, it'll be either, well, maybe it shouldn't be next week, because technically your last day is Friday, so, well, some of you. So let's make it Friday, and we'll have, a meeting time, maybe around, I also don't know when the parade is. Well, I'll figure it out and I'll post it, but we're going to have a meeting time where we can kind of meet as a class if you want to, and you can say goodbye to me on video chat if you'd like. We can talk a little bit. I can tell you a very interesting story about how I went to the ER this weekend with my son, who maybe swallowed something that looks like this, or perhaps we thought for a while that it was an LED light from inside a balloon that he swallowed instead. Very interesting story. First time I've ever been to the ER with either of my children. So not a fun story, but everybody's okay. So spoiler alert, everybody's fine. Zandy's fine, but he definitely did swallow some sort of toy. So anyway, it was a very eventful, scary kind of weekend. But everybody's okay now, so that's good. We are going to today play Jeopardy, which we haven't played in a while, so I thought I'd do a Jeopardy game for your final review. You don't have to make notes for your final. You can use all of your notes for your final, but make sure that they're organized. Today I'm going to do one question each from each chapter, and then a random question at the end, of course, because we have to do that because it's Jeopardy. Hopefully this video won't be too long because I've written all the questions out ahead of time. But I guess we'll find out. So, let's begin. By the way, each one of these, if you're keeping track at home of exactly how many points you're getting, there's definitely, let's see, 9 here, and we're assuming it's 600 points because you guys wouldn't choose anything less. So what? 5,400 possible potential points, which feel free to email me and tell me if you got all of the points. I hope that you do this with me today because this is kind of a nice review, that and the extra credit packet. So make sure you also turn in the extra credit packet by tomorrow. That's when it's due. All right, Chapter 1. Identify the sampling technique used. Law enforcement officials stop and check the driver of every third vehicle for blood alcohol content. Alright, so pause the video, look in your notes, figure out what sampling technique this is, and unpause when you got it. Pause, pause, pause. Okay. This is systematic. Systematic sampling is when you do like every fourth or every fifth or something like that in a very systematic way. So that's what that is. Did you get the points? Hope you did. Alright, and hopefully you're not just watching this video and not participating. That doesn't help you study. Come on. Alright, Chapter 2. The total compensations in millions of dollars, of course, of the top 10 CEOs in the U.S. are listed, so there's 10 numbers there. Make a frequency distribution with 3 classes. Okay, well, we haven't done this in a while, so let's do it quick. So the first thing you do is you take the highest number minus the lowest number. They're already in order there, that's nice. Then you divide by how many classes you have. In this case, it's 3. And that equals 29.3. So if you round that up, because you always have to round it up, you get 30. Your lowest class should start with the lowest value, that's 43. And then I'm going to jump on the left with 30, so that's 73, 103. And then you hit the other side. So 1 less than 73 is 72. And then jump by, this is 102, and these are jumping by 30 as well. So that makes this 132. All right, as far as tallies go, let's see, 131 is in this category. And then 67 and all the rest are in this category. Okay. Make a frequency distribution with 3 classes. Let's see. All right, frequency. Frequency is just a count of your tallies, so that's 9, nothing, and 1. Relative frequency is a percent. Because there happens to be exactly 10 this time, this one would be 9/10 or 0.9. That one's 0, and this one's 1/10 or 0.1. Cumulative frequency is kind of a running count of how many you've had so far. So far it's 9, and then plus 0, it's still at 9, and then you add one more, so that's 10. So remember this number in the bottom corner, that should be the total amount of data points you have. All right, that was chapter 2. How'd you do? Did you get it right? Did you actually pause the video? All right, chapter 3. We're doing chapter 3 now. X. Okay. Chapter 3 was about basic probability. So basic probability question, here we go. Probability of selecting a club or a queen from a standard deck of cards. Okay, now remember, or is when you add something and subtract the overlap. And is when you multiply. So we're going to take something, add it to something else, and subtract the overlap. So the probability of getting a club, there are 13 clubs out of 52 cards in a deck. And for queens, there's 4 queens in the deck. And then there's 1 that is a club. This was clubs, this is queens, and this is a club that is a queen, so it's both at the same time. There is one of those, and that's the queen of clubs. So that's my overlap. And then 13 plus 4 minus 1 is 16 out of 52. And if you reduce that, you get 4/13. How'd you do? Did you kill it? Hope so. All right, number 4. Remember to pause the video once you've heard the question. All right. 60% of Americans trust newspapers to report news accurately. Now, I should mention that this data was from the my textbook, which means that probably not true anymore, especially with the climate, the crazy climate that's going on right now. So, if you select 10 Americans, what are the chances that exactly 7 say that they trust the newspapers? So this is a binomial type of question because we've got a certain amount of experiments happening here. We've got 10, basically 10 trials that are happening, and you've got a probability of success. So the first thing you would have to check is if you can do this, which means you have to do n times p and n times q, which we are good at. So p is 0.6 and q is 0.4. All right, the binomial formula says that we need to do a combination first, that there's 10 things to choose from, and we want, let's see, it says exactly 7, so we want exactly 7 of them. And then our probability of success is 0.6, and there's 7 successes. And then 0.4, that's the probability of failure, and there's 3 failures. So if you multiply all that out, you get 0.215. Make sure you email me today or text or whatever and tell me if you're having problems like having your calculator do stuff like this, if you've forgotten any of those things and how to do them. Chapter 5. X. All right. Chapter 5 says the lifespans of car batteries are normally distributed. Normal. I'm not even going to read the rest of the question. I'm going to draw a bell curve, which is not that great, but whatever. With a mean of 44 months and a standard deviation of 5 months. Okay, so the mean of these car batteries is 44, and you got a standard deviation of 5. What is the probability that you'll select a battery that lasts less than 36 months? Well, this is definitely an x minus mu over sigma problem, and 36 is what we're looking at here. And 36 minus mu is 44. and then you divide by the standard deviation, which is 5, and you get a z-score of negative 1.6, which is right over here, about there. And we're trying to find the area to the left of that. So if you look up a z-score of negative 1.6 on your A16 chart, you find out that the area associated with that to the left, which is what we want, remember if it was to the right you do 1 minus, is 0.0548. Okay.